Hey everyone, it's Alex, and welcome to the Marvel Snap Decks of the Week, the weekly series where I showcase the top 11 decks in Marvel Snap. And if you'd like to support the content, be sure to hit the like button. It's free. It helps tremendously with the YouTube algorithm. I say it every single week, but it really does make a huge difference, and I certainly appreciate it. This week, we're going to be doing 5 arena-based decks, all using untapped-based statistics, and we're going to be talking about 5 ranked decks as well, and 1 budget deck as we did last week. Let's get started, and we're going to be starting with Arena number 5, which is like the 5th best arena deck according to untapped base statistics, which is a Mr. Fantastic style deck. It's running a 63.1% win rate, and what you see here is essentially some general changes to the Mr. Fantastic shell. I'm just using regular Fantastic right now just to show you, but obviously you get you got to build it in the arena mode so you get the actual skill and everything. You do have Mr. Fantastic here, and he's doing a good job, man. And the deck's doing really well. It's a very straightforward deck to play, which I tend to like. This variation of it is using Super Scroll and Cosmo. Cosmo's excellent because it completely counteracts the Invisible Woman style list. I shouldn't say completely counteracts, but usually it's the Hazmat that goes behind the Invisible Woman and stuff like that. And Super Scroll tends to just catch everything, even the popularity of the Mr. Fantastic shells, and of course, even the Luke Cages against the Invisible Woman style shells. So Super Scroll is just a must add, and that's one of the reasons why this deck is performing as well as it is. Oh, and if you're wondering why Alex didn't do any budget decks for the arena mode, well, it's because it got pre-built, right? So the pre-builts are the budget decks, and so we go to arena number 4. We have Agatha Doom. This is actually a pretty interesting list, running a 66.1% win rate. You're essentially leaning into the the Doom skill to get Agatha out more or less immediately, and then as a result, you have a massive 614 on the board, and you don't have to worry about her shenanigans anymore. And overall, it's a pretty neat list. I do like it a lot because I just think that obviously Enchantress is a little cringe here. When you add the tech in, it gets a little cringy. Enchantress and Alioth and stuff like that. I know. I talked about it before. I still think the mode in almost pre-built would have been better to some degree. But if you want to get, sweaty and stuff like that, this will do it here. And then you get the pure just power of something like a Starbrand, and then you can obviously use the Enchantress to turn it off. The Alioth does feast in this mode in particular, and this deck is really good at getting initiative. There's just a lot of tech here, right? And as a result, Agatha Doom puts down a lot of power really fast, and it's one of the ways that you can kind of continue to win tickets in the Grand Arena. Going to number 3, it is Torch Surfer, running a 67% win rate, and honestly, it's good. And this is not much different than the ranked versions of Surfer that have been doing so well, except this one obviously has the even more juiced Surfer that allows you to use the skill to prop up the top deck as well. Notably, this does not utilize Howard the Duck. And what I found fascinating was this really is essentially a near ranked version of the deck with some minor adjustments, right? Not even, I was going to say you're adding some tech, but some of the best versions of Surfer have been running that of Shang-Chi, Enchantress, Galacta, and Gwenpool. It's the reason why Zabu got nerfed before, right? So this honestly is just a ranked shell that happens to be working very well in the Grand Arena as well. And that's going to take us to number 2. And I got to tell you guys, Herbie is at the absolute top right now. Interestingly enough, we have some early kind of stats as to how the different pre-builts are working. Herbie's definitely at the top. Mole Man and the Doctor Doom kind of pre-built shell are way at the bottom. Mole Man's way down there. And actually, even the Carnage shell isn't performing quite as good as expected with the volume of games. It ends up being middle of the pack, with the Thing and Herbie being the best. But yeah, Herbie's been absolutely crushing it. And this version is Herbie Cannonball, which is using the Herbie, Fenris, and Mercury Cannonball lines, which I really like. You also have the Negasonic and Gladiator and Shang-Chi. It's kind of dirty in its tech because not only you have Shangers to punch out the Thing, which tends to be a very popular deck as well, but you have the Enchantress for all the ongoing shells. It's essentially a bunch of tech that then you get to use Fenris Wolf to bring back with. It's rough. It's really rough from an actual tech perspective. But is it going to win games? Hell yeah, it's going to win games if that's the way you want to do it. But I got great news. If you don't want to win with a Cannonball style Fenris shell, well, we got more Herbie for you, and this is Herbie Sarah. This is utilizing the Hitmonkey, the Merlin, the Mysterio, alongside the Bishop to basically put down a lot of power here. It kind of surprised me that Sasquatch didn't make this shell at the end of the day, but hey, that's fine. Yeah, this one's performing very well as well. Herbie tends to be the absolute highest performer because I think its skill is the best. Replicating those effects is absolutely huge, and it goes to show you just how good it is. This is nearly a 70% win rate. 69.9 extra nice win rate. And that's going to round out the top 5 for the arena. Let's talk about some ranked decks. All right, so as always, we're going to get started with our budget list here, and we're going to be talking about budget. C2 is running a 54% win rate, now very strong 0.40 cube rate. If you don't have lashers, there are so many different 2-power cards you can incorporate. Even something as simple as Iceman, right, is a pretty solid one. That's just, obviously, I'm just throwing it out there. You can put whatever you want there. Just don't put something like, a Chavez that buffs the card you're drawing, right? Iceman's a good sub if you don't have something here. But overall, and if you don't have Nico, for the record, Nico, definitely worth spending tokens on. Like, absolutely incredible card. There's a chance you have Nico, right? But the good news is if you don't have Nico or Lasher, there's a good chance you'll be able to sub them out appropriately. But anyways, yeah, C2 has been a great stats deck ever since the changes to Cerebro were made, and it got buffed and changed. And as a result, damn, it puts up massive power, way more power than most people are used to, and actually a pretty good bot farming deck too if you're still kind of making your way towards infinite. So yeah, budget-wise, C2 is the shout-out for this week. Going to number 5, because now we have, prior 5 decks were, of course, the decks related to the arena. In ranked, it's a Nihilist by Night, running a 57% win rate and a 0.36 cube rate. This deck is doing very well. It's basically utilizing the clog of, Sentry and Viper and the Hood alongside a Nihilist as that closing capability. Moreover, you do have the Mercury Cannonball with Fenris Wolf, which is phenomenal as well. And you have the versatility of something like the Merlin, which can polymorph the likes of the Hood or the Sentry's Void. There's a lot of different ways that you can kind of generate value here. I like the addition of Gladiator in this kind of new take on the shell, because like with Gladiator, you usually are able to trade pretty effectively for something for Fenris. Otherwise, you can use Mercury Cannonball in conjunction to pull something huge for Fenris. And of course, you got Shangers too. Fenris is really making a comeback in the meta, man. This was a card I remember being pretty high on. And then people were like, bro, Alex, high on Fenris. Fenris sucks. I'm like, bro, this card is legit. And now we're really starting to see it come alive. And yeah, the Mercury Cannonball side has been really good for it, but we're even seeing it a lot in Surfer. To surprise nobody. I mean, we're going to be talking about Surfer in a second, but yeah, like it's been everywhere. Fenris has been legitimately everywhere, and that disruption and the bring back of power, it's so crazy, especially when you're able to flip power on one end with the Shangers and then add it to the other side to win 2 lanes. It's pretty wild what you're capable of. And then we go to number 4 here, which is going to be a Mr. Negative style deck running a 57% win rate and a 0.50 cube rate. And this is standard negative for the most part. Negative Gore has been a consistent deck since Gore was released. And then even Esme really added to this deck. And Esme was like one of those cards that like was seeing some play here and there, but it has always been a mainstay in negative. And you're seeing it here where it's like, this really is the best version of negative. And this is ranked post-infinite. So this is not just, oh, we're feasting on bots. You can do that too. Negative is well known for feasting on bots. But even against players who are players and not bots, if they stay in games where you're running negative, and you play negative on 2 or 3 or 4 even, not 2, 3 or 4, I meant, sorry, it's been a long day. Their cheeks are clapped. Like there's no way you have to snap on turn 2 if you have the ability to play Mr. Negative on turn 3, and you're just taking 2 cues from them, because as soon as they see negative come down, or if I see a Ravona and they snap, I'm gone, because I know it's negative, right? And they're bringing it down, and of course Lady Jane comes down and they just clap your cheeks hard. There's no way you can beat them. It's almost impossible to beat Mr. Negative 8 cubes on turn 6 or 7. So just get the hell out of there and play your next game, right? Continues to be an absolutely phenomenal shell. And that's going to take us into our top 3. And as I did mention prior, Fenris Surfer is going to be making the list. This has been a very consistent deck. And there's a couple different versions of this deck. There is one that also uses the Human Torch for steps. We'll be talking about that as well. But there is a Fenris version that uses the Human Torch as well. So if you do have that, you can consider adding that to the list. But I want to include one without the new card, because I know that's going to frustrate a lot of people. Like, well, every new card is in every new deck. It's like, that's kind of annoying. But long story short, this running a 58% win rate, 0.41 cube rate. This is phenomenally strong, and it's actually doing really well right now because Clown Car continues to be a good deck that runs a lot of 1-drops, and Killmonger wipes those out, and even those big sunspots are worth bringing back with the likes of Fenris. This deck also tends to do a good job of gaining initiative. You can trade things like the Hulks with Negasonic. Shang-Chi obviously trades with them well. Red Guardian, excellent tech. This deck really just has it all. It really does have it all. And of course, Gambit for extra measure, even though Gambit honestly feels like a scam half the time. Like, Gambit just pisses me off. If you want to cut Gambit for the First Steps Torch, you definitely can. But this is the deck that's kind of statistically doing very well. And that's going to take us to our number 2 deck, which, would you believe it? It's Human Torch, Silver Surfer, and I was so impressed with the Human Torch, man. This card is just so good. 59% win rate, 0.65 cube rate, which is astronomical. This deck is absolutely crushing. Fastos is making shells, and in this particular version, we have Sarah back in the mix. It's been a while, man. Sarah has often been cut from these shells, and now we're back to, oh, we're playing Sarah, we're playing Sebastian Shaw, we're playing the Human Torch, right? Juggernaut. The only thing missing is Storm. I checked. She statistically does not make the deck better. I would have loved it, though. Remember those Storm Juggernaut plays? That was great stuff. Anyways, this deck is absolutely clapping. You're not even running one drops anymore. You're literally just running, well, the two drops in the game, which is Mr. Fantastic First Steps, and of course Surge. Well, amongst the best 2 drops in the game right now. But long story short, this deck is absolutely clapping cheeks. Captain Carter still making Surfer viable, and it just feels good, man. It's a great feel good deck. Both Gwenpool and Galactic feel excellent on turn 4. Sarah feels beautiful on turn 5. You're able to make a lot of magic happen on turn 6. And Juggernaut honestly tends to steal games. There's a lot of games where people will snap and never anticipating Juggernaut messing up on their play. Now it's going to take us to the number 1 deck of the week, and it is Clown Car, to everyone's dismay. It continues to be an excellent deck here. 60% win rate, 0.61 cube rate. The cube rate on the Surfer deck is slightly higher. The win rate on this one is slightly higher. But anyways, yeah, the Clown Car is still doing very well to the surprise of nobody. I'm going to be interested to see what the Invisible Woman does to the meta. Because with Invisible Woman, we're going to see a resurgence of Doom 2099 for sure. But there's a chance she does really well in these style of decks as well. So we're going to have to see how the Clown Car ends up kind of shaking out statistically as Invisible Woman kind of nears release, because this deck has proven to be strong. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I sincerely appreciate it. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Cloud Car is number 1 again, but hey, you know what? We got a lot of fun decks. A great new mode. I got to give him credit, man. That new mode is fantastic. We'll see you on that next one.